Hey everyone, welcome to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
Harron.
Back for another comic review of Doomsday Clock. This is issue number 5. We're going to be doing the whole series ideally here, so it's just slowed down because now it's a bi-monthly book, whereas it started out monthly for the first few issues. So unfortunately, I got stuck with the kind of the lamer cover. I wasn't even paying attention when I picked it up, but I don't know. I might go trade it out because I like yours better. But yeah, so Doomsday Clock continues, and we're going to talk about this one like usual. I don't know if it'll go quite as long, but we'll see. So, Dirk, you want to go ahead and recap this one for everyone?
Well, where the last one left off was that Rorschach escapes from Arkham,
Mm-hmm.
but what kind of confused me about this one was, since it's bi-monthly, I was kind of forgetting what happened in the last one.
Right.
And I was like, oh, he's paired up with this woman. And then so I had to actually go back and read the last issue because I was like, oh, okay, so she's like a mind reader, and so she's all up to date on like what Rorschach has to do. She goes by the name Jane Doe, which I was like,
Yeah, that kind of came out of nowhere for me too.
So yeah, so I was wondering like, okay, so this is a new character. That's the problem that I have with this newest issue, is that there's just now they've like introduced like the whole DC universe. It's like it's too much DC, I think.
Yeah.
And it's like it's I don't know. Like now they've brought in Black Adam,
Mm-hmm.
and like how now he is like there's this like fake country that's kind of like an like an Iraq that
Mm-hmm.
he's like kind of taken over, and now he's like saying like all of you
Kandak, right? Something like that? Or what is it?
Yeah,
I don't remember what it was.
I don't remember. Well,
Okay.
Isn't that's the country that he's
Yeah,
from?
yeah.
Okay,
Is that not the one we're talking about?
Yeah, no, that is the
Okay,
one
yeah,
we're
yeah.
talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And then so
It's like Doom in Latveria.
okay,
Yeah, basically.
and so what that's all about now is that like all the metahumans, superheroes, like that are being persecuted for being what they are.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, now you can come with me, and like it seems like he's like starting to build like this army and everything, and so there's that going on.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like this issue was kind of like a catch up too, like it was kind of a filler episode, like 'cause since the last one was all about Rorschach,
Right.
now that you have to catch up with Batman, and I'm gonna murder his name again,
Ozymandias. Mm-hmm.
And now they're paired up because like since Batman read the diary
Right.
of Rorschach,
Mm-hmm.
he knows all about Ozymandias now, and so now they're kind of paired up. Which I thought that was interesting too, to find out that the psychiatrist that was like was on the case of like Rorschach and trying to figure out like what he was all about was actually Batman.
Yeah.
Like, he was wearing like this disguise and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, but these disguises, I mean, it's easy for comic artists to draw it, but, I mean, it's like Mission Impossible level disguises.
Well,
here.
but Batman's been doing that kind of stuff like
Yeah.
for years
Yeah,
now.
that's
and,
true.
And Frank Miller kind of like used that heavily.
With matches, right? Did Frank Miller introduce
Well,
Well, no, matches
well,
is just kind of a mustache and sunglasses.
But he wore the disguise like in The Dark Knight Returns with
Right.
the old lady and everything
Right, that's
like
true.
that.
That's true.
And so, but now we're to a point where everybody is like kind of choosing sides. We had the Marionette and the Mime, like their mission was to like find this Joker guy,
Mm-hmm.
and so I thought that was kind of a payoff for you. Finally,
Yes.
they've introduced Joker.
Although, again, it's a last page deal.
Yeah, and then another thing too was that I was really excited for you about was that when we first started doing these reviews, I talked about how Jeff Johns had this idea of like how this is the Watchmen meeting up with the DC universe and stuff, and so now Green Lantern has kind of entered the story, which we don't know how that's going to play along because that was part of the last page as well. You're just like, because that was one thing that Rorschach and Jane Doe they were like halfway through the issue. Like Rorschach was like, we need to find Dr. Manhattan. She's like, I got an idea of where he's at, and then he was like, well, where? And she's like, we need to find this big light. And so I just assumed that it was the Batman signal, that they were going to go there. But then you find out that the Marionette and the Mime are going that way, and so like, oh man, they're going to intersect. But then you find out there's this whole other story that's kind of going on with this other old man. He escapes from, this retirement home. Who
has a friend by the name of Alan that he mentions.
Yeah. And so, and then he's going towards this, like, abandoned, like, warehouse. And then you find out that the lantern is there. And that's what he was trying to get to, because he knows that, like, everything's going to shit right now. And so, like, we need Green Lantern back. Oh, where the ring is, I have no idea, but so yeah, he's going there. Some thugs go to beat him up and steal whatever he has, and then you find out that Rorschach and Jane Doe are there. They help out the old man, and then
in a really cool fight scene, actually.
Yeah, and then you see Rorschach pick up the lantern and is like, what is this all about? And so,
and we get enter the Joker and then Rorschach with the lantern.
So
look at that Gary Frank Joker, though.
Yeah,
it's so good, man.
Yeah,
Gary Frank is just so awesome.
Yeah. So, spoilers for this whole issue, but like you kind of have to, because like there's just so much going on.
And it's just a building, like you said. It's kind of a bridge building issue,
right? But I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I like I said, I felt like this issue was a little bit filler, a little bit of catching up, because since the last issue was all about Rorschach, we needed to find out what was kind of going on with all the other characters.
Right.
And I don't know, did you read the last bit about?
I don't.
So there's.
We're 5 issues in. Don't you think I would have started by now?
It was interesting how they talk about how like I think it's like 97% of all the metahumans come from America.
Oh.
But that 3% is like in other countries, and so like now it seems like Russia is like kind of like harboring all of their superheroes, and now like they've pretty much threatened the world, and there's Dr. Black Adam, who's now trying to like recruit all these superheroes, and it has kind of like a Kingdom Come kind of vibe. Like I think that's what it's kind of going down to, is like there's going to be this huge war at the end, and maybe like there's going to be all this building up to it, and then maybe it doesn't happen or something like that, because like that's where I find the comparison between the original Watchmen and this one, is that like the Cold War scare, and how like here's nuclear war about to take place,
right?
And that's where I'm getting this vibe about Doomsday Clock, is that like this huge war is going to take place, and like will the Watchmen and the main DC characters end up saving the day and allowing this to not destroy the planet?
Well, and now we have possible kinks in the wheels, or kinks in the plan, where we also got an update on the comedian, where that was a really cool scene where two cops walk in on him, or security guards walk in on him at a crime scene. And they're like, freeze, and he's just like, here's the thing, guys. You're either going to let me walk out of here, you're both going to be dead in the next 30 seconds. And, like, they just, like, stand there, and he just walks between them. He's like, have a good night, boys. And it's like, oh, dude, he's so cool. Like,
and I was wondering about that, too, because he kind of, like, he shows up to this kind of crime scene that had just taken place. And so I kind of assumed that it was the Mime and the Marionette that killed these thugs.
Well, there were limbs scattered about.
Yeah, okay, that's so
And Marionette really loves her, her razor wire.
Her razor wire, and and also the mime, like, it just has, like, perfect accuracy because, like, it just showed everybody, like, shot right in the middle of the forehead. Mm-hmm. So there was all that kind of going on. So now the comedian is after the mime and Marionette, so I'm sure that's going to play a role with the Joker and the comedian kind of.
The Joker versus the comedian. That makes sense.
Okay, that makes sense.
I didn't even think about that
until
just now.
Yeah. So there's a lot going on.
Right.
They're juggling a lot of characters. I still feel like they're doing a pretty good job of it. The one reason why I brought up the stuff in the back was they just bring up all these, like, other superheroes from other different other countries and stuff. And so I know you're a huge DC guy, so I was wondering if you recognized some of those characters.
I'd have to take another look.
But
because I was never a big, if anything, like Justice League International and stuff like that, I didn't really pay attention to. So I'd have to really. I mean, I see Clark and Lois.
There's this character right here.
The guy on fire.
Yeah.
Oh, Hawk and Dove.
Well, Hawk and Dove.
I know Hawk and Dove. But
yeah,
who
I know
this
that
guy?
they were fighting some crime in Russia, and I think that and now, like, they're accused of all these war crimes and stuff like that.
The Ukrainian Firestorm. Oh, these guys.
Yeah. So there's this new group of, like, Russian superheroes.
She's an unknown soldier. I know that.
Okay, so there's
precedence for these guys. Yeah.
Okay, there's some.
This looks like Geostorm, but I don't know if that's his. No, he doesn't have a star. He doesn't have a star on his chest.
All right, because there's this new guy that's on fire.
I didn't know you were still listening to that show.
And he's calling out Firestorm for some reason.
The Ukrainian Firestorm's calling out regular Firestorm.
Right.
And then we have Killer Frost there.
Yeah,
as well.
Killer Frost is in it now.
Yeah.
And they're just and then Lex Luthor and, like, Lois Lane kind of pairing up.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, man, a lot of pairs in this, and so
there was some interesting stuff. I thought this issue was okay. I liked it more than the Rorschach issue, but like you said, there wasn't a whole lot going on. It just felt like a necessary track that needed to be laid.
Right.
And I did like the last couple pages, obviously, and I did like that comedian section as well. So there's still enough to keep me engaged. I'm starting to lose the story a little bit, but
bi-monthly.
Yeah, it's so hard, man.
Yeah.
I have a hard enough time remembering things as it is, let alone extending it by twice the amount of time.
Right. It's one of those where I think I'm gonna have to keep going back and reading issues over again just to, like, to
keep up properly.
Keep
pretty
up.
much, yeah.
So,
but yeah, the artwork continues to be amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Gary Frank is I'm glad that he's got the time to continue to keep the level as high as it is right now. So yeah, I mean, overall it's a good issue. It's not the best one, but it's definitely not the worst. So I enjoyed it well enough, and I'm super glad that the Joker has officially entered the fray.
Right.
So I want to see where that goes. Just the idea of the Joker versus the comedian now has me excited now that I actually thought about it. So, I don't know. Any final thoughts from you?
I think it's interesting that now they've brought in Green Lantern, how that's going to play a role.
But which Lantern is it supposed to be? Because, again, he mentions Alan, which makes me think Alan Scott, the original Green Lantern.
Okay.
The guy that's got a largely red suit, but he's got the cape that's the green cape with the yellow on the inside with the massive collar.
Yeah, he almost looks like Doctor Strange.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. But he's got, like, his ring is an actual little lantern, and so I don't know that this might. I don't know if this is Johns he loves the Justice Society.
Okay.
Jeff Johns does. He relaunched the Justice Society years ago.
Okay.
And did a great job, and such a good job that he also brought Stargirl into the Justice Society and created her from scratch. Mm-hmm. And now she's been on Legends of Tomorrow and a couple of other DC shows, I believe. I know she was on Smallville very briefly too, but yeah, man, like this stuff, I know Jeff Johns has an affinity for it, so that's why I'm thinking it might be Alan Scott.
Okay.
So again, the guy mentions Alan,
Right.
which is why I was like, Alan Scott. I wonder if he's talking about because he's looking for a light, and I knew Alan.
Well, wasn't that in Earth 2 as well? Like the Alan Scott character?
Yeah, but they
Wasn't that-
merged after the first crisis.
Okay.
The first crisis destroyed all the Earths and merged them into one.
Okay.
And then Infinite Crisis brought 51 of them back.
Okay.
So Jeff Johns brought them back.
All right.
So he's been involved in that, worlds disappearing and merging and separating again. So
Okay.
it would be easy for him, of all people, right away in.
Well, and I think that's what he's kind of doing with Doomsday Clock is like, it seems like he's grabbing a lot of these older characters that were developed such a long time ago,
Mhm.
and now he's allowing them to like enter back into the DC universe.
Right.
And I guess what better way than Doomsday Clock? This, which is
Huge,
this
massive event, yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. So yeah, there you go, guys. That's issue 5 in the can. Or in the books, I should probably say, for this one. Thank you guys very much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't, like the video if you enjoyed it, and come back for more. Last week I reviewed, or maybe 2 weeks ago I reviewed, the first 3 issues of the new Venom book that came out, which I absolutely love. So we do horror comics here as often as I can, so stay tuned for more. Also, thank you very much to our patrons. We launched our Patreon not too long ago, and the link to that is in the description box. If you want to come on, by the way, one of the perks is selecting a movie for us to review or commentate on, a game for us to do a Let's Play of, and I'll go ahead and say, if you have a horror comic you want me to read and review, I'll do that too. So the perk's down there if you guys have some horror comics you want us to read. So thanks very much for watching. I've been Cecil Laird.
Derk Harron.
And remember, stay scared.